first to know when we release a new webisode. Sign up to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or to receive our email updates. See details at www.hivtalkshow.com.
So, Tony, let me ask you a question. Are condoms in the prison systems?
No.
No.
On your first arrival at an institution, you're standing there in a line and you might have an officer from a CERT team or a lieutenant that will come out and give a speech. And one of their main speeches are, there are no homosexual activities conducted in this camp. If you're caught, you will be punished as far as lockdown, which lockdown is nothing but a free ticket. Because in lockdown, you're in a two-man cell where you might get viewed every, hour or so on a route. And once, I've heard stories about, I intentionally went to lockdown so I could, get away from
now
the
that's not every prison.
population.
Most
Not
lockdowns, in fact, that seems kind of bizarre to me because, my knowledge, the lockdown is one person, one cell.
Now, so let me ask you a question. Do you think we should just, I know the Department of Corrections does not sanctify sex. Do you believe we should say, it will happen or it may happen, therefore we should have condoms? Or should we say, we're going to crack down on no sex so tight that it won't ever happen? But it's either got to be one or the other. I mean, which one would you want? Would you rather have the condoms and just go, if it does, it's not sanctified here, we don't encourage it here, but at least protect yourself? I mean,
Not just
my
yourself,
question,
protect the innocents, because you have people in there who know that they are infected and won't share the information with their partner.
But if you're in the line for the medicines,
Well,
why
like
would you
I say,
want
it could
to?
be one or two reasons. It could be either that you went to medical and they just gave you an antibiotic or something for a few days, or you're on mental health medication. It doesn't necessarily, but a lot of people assume just because they feel like, well, I don't stand in the pill call line, so I know it's nothing wrong with me, or I didn't see that person stand in the pill call line, so I know it's nothing wrong with them, which that person could be avoiding going to the pill call line because they don't want to be a stigma of that, or something's wrong with you, because why are you standing in the pill call line? But I see it as that to me it's a must, because sex is going to take place in the prison. And I can say this again, not everyone in prison is having sex, but it's happening, and it's happening unprotected.
But there's the other side of, if we put condoms into the prison system, are we not saying have sex?
It's okay. Yeah.
So
it's a complicated issue.
It's a very complicated
Yes.
issue. Do you put condoms in the prison system to protect, but in doing that, at the same time say, but don't have sex, or do you leave them out and say, don't have sex, and we're not, we're so strong about, don't have sex. I mean, homosexuality is does it go on?
fear.
Yes, we know it goes on. We try to educate about not doing that, but
It's the same question in high school. Should there be condoms in high school?
education.
It's the same question.
Because in prison, you might have someone who has gone to prison at an early age, 17, 18 years old, never ever thought about sleeping with another man. But after 10 years, or maybe even 5 years, it just may cross their mind. But if it just happened to take place, I feel like that person should want to be protected, because, like I said, not everyone. I myself personally, I don't have a problem telling anyone that I'm HIV positive. I'm a survivor. I'm a 20-year survivor. I'll say in a minute, I won't hesitate about it, because if I feel like if you're so into me and we're going to be together and we're going to get to know you got to accept me for who I am and what I have, and part of me is HIV. Because that's something I have to get up every morning, make sure I take that medicine. I have to take it at night. So that's still with me. I still live with that. But yet and still, I got to know that you're with me because of this. You know this about me.
Now, let me ask a question. Did you think that, you just said it was a strength, and you were out and told, but did you ever think that you were discriminated against by other inmates? Or did you, since you took well, hey, I'm positive and I'm telling it everyone, people respected you and gave you your kudos? I mean, what was your feel about it?
Well, at first, I really didn't care, because I knew this was just only temporary where I was at, and these were the people that I didn't care if they liked me or not. I'm here to do my time and move on. I probably never see you ever again. So whether this thing goes good or not, me telling you this, it doesn't bother. Even to with my family, when it was time for me to tell my family, I didn't have no problem with it because I'm like, now I really want to see just how strong and just how much love my family has for me, and I didn't have a problem with it, with my family.
So-
And that was very personal for him. I mean, I don't tell anybody who's HIV positive. Nobody in the prison tells, staff tells them. But if an inmate who's positive wants to tell someone else that they're positive, they certainly can. And I think it was interesting that, Antonio tells people, and he said a while back that people know who's positive and not. How they know that may be because who goes to the pill room, who doesn't. Why would you want to be with someone who you know is positive when you know they're positive and you're not positive? Well, a lot of that is the same mentality that may have gotten them into prison. I'm not going to get caught doing what I'm doing. Well, I'm not going to catch this disease if I have sex.
Or desperation. It could be, I'm desperate for it and I gotta.
Well, I'd say people don't stop being sexual beings just because you put them behind bars. That hasn't changed. And you do, whether you're in there 17, 18, 19 years or 17, 18, 19 days, you're still a sexual being. It may be a lot harder at 17, 18 years than 17, 18 months. I can do this time. But is there, is there some, form of outlet in the prison system? I don't know. I don't know that I can answer that.
It's a complicated question.
It's a very complicated.
It's complicated
question.
issues. I mean,
It is.
and I don't think anyone has the exact right answer. I mean, but the dialogue is part of the solution,
And education.
And education.
I do think we need education in the prison system as well as the outside about protection, whether that be protection from sexual transmission, IV drug use transmission, tattooing even, which may spread either HIV or hepatitis. I think there needs to be that kind of educational system in place,
And I
both
think-
inside and out.
I think that's what I was doing when I was being blatant about my condition, because to tell someone, then there's questions, and I can be able to relay those questions or give answers if I have answers, because the first question is well, how long have you been positive? And when I tell them, at the time I was like maybe 18 years, and they was like, surprised.
that's what I did just now because I
it's
didn't know
like-
how long you've been positive.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
you look good, And I say it really doesn't have anything with what I did, because when I first found out, I wasn't devastated at all. The same night I went out, partied, had a good time, and thought nothing else of it. But a very close friend of mine, he did all the grieving for me. So, so when someone tells me and I tell them, 18 years, then that's where the questions begin. Well, man, what did you do? And I was aware. I have this, so now I know I need to make certain changes, certain precautions, or whatever. And I always was. I mean, I contracted through a relationship. I was in a committed relationship, which I thought it was, and that's how it happened. So, I wasn't angry at the person because for a year and a half, we used protection. And after that year and a half, it turned into, well, you can trust me now. We've been in this for almost a year and a half. You can trust me now.
And you weren't angry.
I was, because I felt responsible, because for a year and a half I said, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna use protection. And after that, I gave in to the fact that, well, okay, I'm faithful, I'm committed. I come home every day, and this and that. But little do I know, when you're at work, that's when you get your breaks. So I end up being a victim because I trusted, someone telling me, well, I'm fine, I'm okay, there's nothing wrong with me, we've been together and even to like those who are in relationships now, and if you've been in a relationship, say, and especially in a gay relationship over a year, you still need to use the protection. Whether if you're waking up with each other in the morning, going to bed with each other at night, it's that in-between time that you don't know about.
Yeah, and it's not just gay relationships. That may be true for all
All
relationships.
Well, if you're in a mutually monogamous relationship where both people are negative and mutually monogamous, then no, you don't have to use barrier protections.
As long as it's truly.
As long as it's truly mutually
Mutual.
monogamous.
Right.
And there's that question at the end, and no one can judge that but the
Yeah.
two individuals.
Right.